Garrett Crochet flirts with a no-hit bid against his former team. Michael King of the Padres finished what he started. Hunter Greene was outstanding as the Reds finished off the sweep against the Buccos. MLB Game Night is underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Off and running, and ready to go and ready to have some fun. He is Jon Frisch, host with his brother Mike on Locked On Angels, number one Los Angeles Angels podcast. I'm Steve Lenox, host of the Locked On Red Sox postcast. John, our first show together. Looking forward to it as we get underway. And by the way, you can follow John on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Super Halos Bros. I'm at Lenox on baseball. John, let's get into it. Sunday night. This is my favorite night with Locked On MLB Game Night. And we'll start with a game that just wrapped up in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium on your West Coast. Cubs take 2 out of 3 in the series, win the finale 4-2. Not all good news. We'll get into that for the Cubbies, but Pete Crow Armstrong certainly had himself a day.
Yeah, picking him up for my fantasy team. I'm sitting pretty with Pete Crow Armstrong, Steve. Hey, I'm happy to be here with you for the first time here on Locked On MLB Game Night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't quite have the radio voice that you do, my friend, but you know that does that come with age? Does that come with time? Will I get it eventually?
Hey, the voice and the face for radio. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But yeah, 2-homer night for Pete Crow Armstrong. This is the year that I think everyone's looking to see him bust out and be, one of the best Cubbies on the team. And of course, you can't take anything away from the rest of the team, and they're hot right now. And certainly taking on that Dodgers lineup and doing what they've been able to do. Colin Ray, not too many innings, and not somebody that you came into the season thinking, yeah, he's going to start for us, right? He's kind of been a swingman over his career. But for him, 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits, only 1 earned run allowed, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts for Colin Ray. And then from that point on, it was the bullpen coming through and keeping those Dodgers from crossing home plate.
And Shohei Ohtani ended the game with the final out of the game against that Cubs bullpen that you referred to. Ohtani, rough night, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Not all good news, as I mentioned, for the Cubs. Justin Steele is going to have season-ending surgery. They're going to repair a flexor tendon and the UCL in the left elbow. So a big hit for that rotation for the Cubs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's somebody that, everybody preseason was looking to see Justin Steele be one of the better starters across the game. And it's really unfortunate that this is the situation. And when you think about it, if it's going to be that kind of surgery, we're not going to see him again until next season and maybe even June, July. So it's unfortunate that the Cubs are going to have to move forward without him, especially with the start that they've been that they've had so far. Going 11, they're 11-7 now, and of course the Dodgers 11-6. So everybody's playing for that best record in baseball right now, and 2 teams leading the way in their divisions meet up on this Sunday night, and of course over the weekend. But it's super unfortunate to see Justin Steele go down like that. I was really looking forward to seeing what kind of season he was going to have in this Cubbies rotation.
Justin, we sort of stick with Chicago. We'll go to the south side. Garrett Crochet, former White Sox pitcher, trying to get a win for the Red Sox on Sunday. White Sox taking the first 2 games of the series. Crochet flirting with a no-hitter. We get a recap from Gabby on the Red Sox perspective.
Garrett Crochet is a stud. What an outing for him for the Red Sox today, having a no-hitter going into the 8th. And ironically, the guy who broke up that no-hitter is Chase Meidroth, one of the players that the Red Sox actually traded to Chicago to get Crochet in a Boston Red Sox uniform. So it feels like a little bit of a storybook narrative there. Also, Trevor Story hit a home run for the first Red Sox home run in legitimately a week. They had not hit a home run since last Sunday. The offense still has struggled a lot to get runs across the board, but hopefully that fuels some more and bigger bats and offense being brought to Tampa Bay in this next series. So glad the Red Sox avoided the sweep with a 3-1 win here over the White Sox. Be sure to tune in to Locked On Red Sox for more analysis on the rest of the series in Chicago.
Gabby, thank you very much. Gabby mentioned the home run by Story. That gave him a 3-1 lead in the ninth inning. Aroldis Chapman took the loss as the White Sox, John, walked off on Saturday. Good to see for the Red Sox. Story, 2-run double. Crochet, of course it was Mydroth who broke it up. I told Lindsay Saturday on MLB Game Night, Mydroth was on deck when they walked it off. Even if Baldwin didn't get the game-winning hit, he was going to have the game-winning hit on Saturday, broke up the no-hit bid on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been fun watching Garrett Crochet, and, he caught some flack last year when he was still with the White Sox about how much he was going to pitch. If he got traded, would he be on a playoff team? Would he pitch in the playoffs? That sort of thing. And I have to say that I appreciate a young guy who knows his value, who knows what he's worth, and he knows what he's capable of, who has had some injury issues in the past, knowing his value and knowing his worth and knowing that I'm not going to let some team exhaust my arm before my big payday. Now, the Red Sox are a team, and the way they've been playing, the Red Sox are a team that I think it's worth pitching for, if you know what I'm saying, Steve, because the fact is this team has a chance to make the playoffs, and they're going to do that with performances like this from Garrett Crochet. 7 1/3 inning, 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts across this game. Really great to see that from him.
Watch this entire series from the Red Sox perspective. We're going to hear from Todd Welter in just a moment. But I'll tell you what, Lindsay, John, as this White Sox team gets better, the next time some of these young guys that they have now in the rotation and guys in the minor leagues, they're going to try to keep them homegrown and sign them long-term.
Right.
Couldn't do it with Crochet, and I think it was the right move from their perspective. Sure. But the next time, they're going to try to keep these guys in-house.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to start somewhere. And so with the White Sox having the record that they did last year, believe me, I'm a fan of a team that had the worst record in franchise history. So I know that you got to tear it all down before you can build it back up. And of course, the White Sox are certainly doing it better than, say, I don't know, the Angels in terms of tearing it all down. But the Angels are rushing their prospects, not rushing, but they're bringing up young guys to come make this team
immediately,
do something right. And they're off to a great start, and I'm not taking anything away from my team. But when you look at a true rebuild, you got to look at what the White Sox have done in terms of trading Garrett Crochet. Perhaps we see a Luis Robert Jr. trade at some point during the season. It is what it is with the White Sox. And like you said, once they start getting value out of these guys that they've been trading for, it really gives them a chance to build back up and extend those guys. They really missed their window with, Tim Anderson. I mentioned Luis Robert Jr., Lucas Giolito. Those guys, that was the team. And for some reason, it all fell apart, whether that was management, whether that was ownership, all of the above. It gets to teams sometimes, and it just wasn't, I don't know, as the kids say, good vibes on the South Side, Steve, for the Chicago White Sox over the last few years. So again, tear it down, build it back up, and you're right. They're going to have some really interesting players here in the future.
White Sox unable to complete the series sweep against the Red Sox Sunday in Chicago. The Reds were able to complete their series sweep, winning 4-0 on Sunday against the Pirates in Cincinnati. Hunter Greene outstanding. Let's hear from our guy, Jeff Carr. He provides the Reds' perspective.
Sweep! That's right. Your Cincinnati Reds have swept the Pittsburgh Pirates and are back to 500 thanks to absolutely amazing pitching from the best pitcher in the league right now, Hunter Greene. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the LockedOn Reds podcast. And there were timely hits. There were some good run-scoring RBI opportunities that the Reds came through in this game to win 4-0. But it was all about Hunter Greene and his ability on the mound to shut down anybody. Whoever stepped to the plate that was in a Pirates uniform had no chance. Just a couple of base runners on the day against Hunter Greene. He pitches through 7 innings. First time in his career that he has 3 straight starts of 7 or more innings, and he did it in the first 3 starts of the season. Absolutely dominant performance by him, and the Reds are 8-8. First time outside of the first week of the season that they are a 500 ball club since May 3rd of 2024. Looking forward to more. The Reds have the Mariners coming in for 3 games. We'll preview that and more and react to this amazing 3-game sweep on the next LockedOn Reds podcast live at 3 p.m. on Monday.
All right, John, we've all enjoyed Jeff talking about the sweep throughout the weekend against the Pirates. It's not been an easy weekend. It's not been an easy lot of years here, decade now or more for Gary Morgan on the Pirates. Let's hear from Gary as they get swept.
The Reds complete the sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates in Cincinnati. 27 innings of baseball, and the Pirates scored in only 7 of them. I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates, and I wish I could tell you there was a little more offense here in this series. The Pirates entered this series with very similar WAR figures in both pitching and offense against the Cincinnati Reds, and it did not stack up in this series. The Pirates allowed only 14 hits this whole series and still lost all 3 of them. That's how inept they were offensively. They finished this game on Sunday with 23 straight going down to end the game. Hunter Greene was impeccable. 7 scoreless, dominant. Really looks like a different pitcher than what the Pirates have seen in the past 7 meetings they've had with him. Not going to win many series like that. If you're not going to score runs, you're not going to win. Paul Skeene could have pitched every inning of every game in that series, and they'd have lost all 3 of them. Right now, if you want to get right, play the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow morning on Locked On Pirates. I'm sure I'm going to get heated up about something because it's starting to get to the point of enough is enough on a certain few players, at least.
John, Paul Skeens does go on Monday. Your thoughts real quick on the Pirates side, as we just heard from Gary.
Man, I have been the victim of, if you want to get right against a team, your favorite team is the team to do it against. And so I certainly feel for Gary over there in Pittsburgh. But man, come on. I mean, the performance Hunter Greene had against the Giants earlier this week, and then doing it again here on Sunday, didn't get into the 9th, but of course gives up 2 hits across 7 innings. Man, and Jake and I talked about this earlier this week. Hunter Greene feels like he's arrived, right, Steve?
Yes, absolutely.
And the fact is, you know, when you're the Pirates, you're taking on somebody within your division, and like Gary said, you could have Paul Skeens pitch all those innings, and there's nothing that you can do if your offense isn't going to score for you. So I don't know what they need to do in order to shake things up there in Pittsburgh. But the fact is, the Reds had a ton of momentum coming off 2-3 with the Giants, who are also a great team right now, by the way, and then just rolling into Pittsburgh the way that they did. Unfortunate for the Pirates, but the Reds picked up some momentum this week. And so especially, like I said, 2 out of 3 against the Giants, a sweep against the Pirates. You really can't. Momentum is a thing sometimes in baseball, right?
Let's move Padres Rockies. Speaking of sweeps, 3 shutout wins this weekend. Michael King of the Padres finished off the series sweep. He started and he finished what he started in the finale on Sunday at Petco Park. This is MLB Game Night.
Hey, today's show is brought to you by our friends at Wonderful Pistachios. Man, when you need a snack at the game, Wonderful Pistachios is where it's at because it's delicious and nutritious, and it packs a protein punch. And when you're a nervous, anxious watcher of baseball like I am, you need something to do. You got to fidget. You got to open up those shells and crack them open and enjoy yourself some Wonderful Pistachios. Or you can get them in the no-shell variety, because then you can eat them by the handful. In fact, each 1-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. They're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feel fuller, longer. Again, grab and go the no-shell variety, or if you're at a game and you need something to do and you're watching nervously your team, you can crack open every shell for that satisfying crunch. The in-shell options are a classic favorite. Again, Wonderful Pistachios, the complete protein nut, providing all 9 essential amino acids. These little green wonders pack a protein punch. And like I said, if you need to eat them by the handful, the no-shell variety is there for you as well. So whether you're running between meetings, dropping off the kids, or nervously watching a baseball game, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works hard for you. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit Wonderful Pistachios to learn more.
Happy to have you on board. MLB Game Night, part of the Locked On Sports Network. Steve Lenox, Jon Frisch, our first show together. And John, I did make an executive decision there to push Padres Rockies back, because I think this one deserves a couple of minutes. Michael King going the distance, first career complete game, first career shutout on Sunday. He was outstanding, But the Padres pitching, 8-0 Friday, 2-0 against the Rockies on Saturday, 6-0 the final on Sunday. Unbelievable pitching right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael King really putting it together. Had a bit of a rough start to the season in that first game, but since then, he's been rolling, man. Again, a complete game shutout. We can all say it's the Rockies, it's Colorado, they are who they are, but to go the distance like that against any team is always impressive to me. And again, 8 Ks, 1 walk, and not just from the pitching perspective or the offensive perspective with the Rockies, they are who they are. But when you're not giving up walks, when you're keeping guys off base and you're not allowing those runs to come around to score, again, 2 hits for Michael King across 9 innings. That's an ace right there, if you ask me.
Yeah, he's going to get paid, and he's going to get paid real soon. 3 straight shutouts in the series, 6 shutouts now in the season for Padres pitching, 9 games where they've allowed 2 runs or less. 10-0 at home, 13-3. Everyone in the NL West looking up right now at the Padres.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that's the way it's going to be. You've got the Dodgers and the Padres who, duked it out in the playoffs. And, I got to say, as the quote unquote crosstown rival, the Angels, I mean, different divisions, different leagues, doesn't matter to me, but that's just, it is what it is. It's a location thing. Watching Dave Roberts do what he did in the postseason against the Padres with the way he managed that bullpen and just totally threw off their rhythm. The Padres want to answer back, and they want to answer back strong. And I know that they've had some injury issues this week. They've had guys who've had to sit out and whatnot. Fortunately, they get somebody like Tatis back into the lineup. So for the Padres to start out this way and have everybody looking up at them right now, I think that they're ready to get back to the postseason because they have something to prove. They're not happy with the way things ended in that division series.
Moving on, in the Bronx on Sunday, Giants take the finale against the Yankees. With that, they take the series 2-1. We're going to hear the Yankees' perspective and the recap from Jay Berman. But first, let's hear from the winning side. Ben Gaspic has the Giants.
My, oh my, the Jung-Hoo Lee breakout party continues. 2 home runs in Yankee Stadium today, 3 home runs in the series, and he alone basically helps the Giants win 2 out of 3 in New York. This is Ben Caspick with the Locked On Giants podcast, and Jung-Hoo Lee is just having himself an incredible start to the 2025 season for the Giants. Offensively, some other guys got on base, but Jung-Hoo Lee did all the damage. First left-handed hitter ever to hit 2 home runs in a game off of Carlos Rodon. And it's Jung-Hoo Lee in Yankee Stadium. And he homered in the Giants' win in the first game of this series. And it was a big home run as well. So Logan Webb, it wasn't his best start, but the bullpen slammed the door. Hayden Birdsong, 2 innings. Tyler Rogers, an inning, gave up a homer, but the Giants were up by 2. It was a solo shot. And then Ryan Walker shutting it down in the 9th as the Giants improved to 11-4. And their hot start continues, and we'll break it all down on tomorrow's Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
And John, Ben mentioned the home run allowed. Jazz Chisholm, 8th inning, solo home run. That made it a 1-run game. But Rogers came back, got the next 3 batters, and gave a 2-run cushion to the 9th inning.
Can I just point out for real fast, Jung-Hoo Lee's line right now, 352 average, 426 on base, Steve, a 704 slugging, and a 1.13 OPS. In fact, I believe it's Baseball Reference WAR. I'm not sure what ESPN is using here. 0.9 WAR so far this season. Last year, Jung-Hoo Lee, a 0.1 WAR in all 37 games that he played. He's played 14, and he's got almost a whole WAR's worth of games behind him. So, man, talking about what's the name of that crew they got in San Francisco? It's like the Lunatics or the Jung-Hoo-Latics. I don't know what it is, but they got a cool name. We'll get it. We'll get there. Yeah. But what an incredible start to the season for Jung-Hoo Lee and the Giants, and Jung-Hoo Lee's a big part of that for sure.
Hey, John, follow me here for just a second. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. All right. We're going to hear from We're going to hear from my guy, Jay Berman, in just a moment. But as you go into WAR, that's like the plus minus in basketball for me. Jung-Hoo Lee, who you just gave it there, the 0.9 this year compared to last year, I'll I'll reference that and I'll appreciate it as well. But a plus minus for me in basketball has got to be plus 37 for somebody, right?
Right.
So I'm the old guy. You're the young guy. Cat's out of the bag. Let's go to another older guy, Jay Berman, Yankee side.
All right, here comes Jay. Here we go.
Yankees lose to the Giants 5-4 in the series finale. San Francisco takes 2 of 3 from New York. Yanks are now 8-7 overall. Carlos Rodon got the start. It didn't go very well. 5 2/3, 4 earned. All 4 runs coming courtesy of Jung-Hoo Lee. A solo shot and then a back-breaking 3-run shot. And again, Rodon takes the loss. His season's ERA well over 5. He's 1-3 on the season. As for the offense, Jazz Chisholm Jr., a home run, snapping an 0-for-24 streak, his 5th home run of the season. But again, it wasn't enough as the Yankees fall. Final score 5-4. So they lose 2 of 3 to the Giants. Up next for New York, the Kansas City Royals in town for 3 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Clark Schmidt returns to the rotation. He'll pitch on Wednesday. Again, in New York, Yanks lose to the Giants 5-4.
And I will say Jay's a friend, so when I call him an older guy, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's
That's okay.
as
That's
well.
okay.
And I'm an older guy.
There's 2 things that Yankee fans hate. They hate losing, and they hate losing at home. And so for the Giants to do this at Yankee Stadium, it's going to get under some Yankee fan skin, I think, Steve.
Yeah, let's do a little rapid fire here. Actually, let's do the Mets and Athletics right now. 8-0 victory. We're going to hear from Booney in just a moment. But the Mets, 7-6 winners on Friday. A's come back, win Saturday, 8-0. Third shutout for the Mets. Kodai Senga, 7 scoreless. We're going to hear from the losing side because I'm sort of making an edict here. When we get to the Athletics, we have to hear from Booney.
I like it. Let's go to Booney right now.
This was supposed to be a classic, Severino versus Senga, former Met versus current Ace. And yeah, it did live up to the hype, just not the ending we wanted. This is Booney from LockedOn A's, and Luis Severino was good. 5 2/3 innings, 6 Ks, 4 hits, but pitch number 104, that was the dagger. Luis Torrens slapped it for a 2-out RBI to score the first run of the game, and that was all the Mets needed. Kodai Senga, efficient, clinical, dominant, only 79 pitches in 7 innings. That's the difference. He carved up the A's lineup. 4 hits, no runs. He was in complete and total control. The Mets broke open a very close, competitive game, and they got to the A's bullpen, winning 8-0. You got to give credit to the Mets. The Mets didn't just show up with the hype. They had competitive at-bats. They played smart baseball. They waited for their shot. They cashed in. That's a championship team right there. The A's hit the road to face the White Sox for 3 and the Brewers for 3. We'll get better.
I'll only say this, and John will wrap up with you on Mets and A's. Don't think you're going to play the Chicago White Sox and think you're going to get better in the next couple of days. You better come in. You better swing the bats. You better keep the ball down in the zone.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to play those teams, and you've got to show up. And the White Sox, don't count them out. Don't count them out because they'll find a way. Even though they have the reputation that they have, they're there to play. They're there to play ball. So I don't think that right now they're one of the get right teams around the league.
Blue Jays, Orioles at Camden Yards Sunday. Rained out on Friday. Brief 2-game series. Miles Straw breaking a 6-6 tie with an RBI single in the 6th inning. Straw also had an RBI single, or that was in the 10th inning. Also had an RBI single in the 6th inning as well. So they split those 2 games. And the Orioles led 6-3 going to the 8th inning. Lose it in 10. Ernie Clement, 4 hits, 16 hits total for the Blue Jays. We're going to touch on John's team, the Angels. A first for the Angels this season. That happened against the Astros on Sunday, and we're going to discuss that next. And certainly delighted to have you on board. We are presented by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. When you start using Monarch Money, you may soon realize just how much you are spending on food delivery. And now, if you make that discovery, you're going to perhaps move forward and budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan your long-term goals. Managing money with your partner, never smoother. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LockedOnMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off on your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LockedOnMLB for half off on your first year.
Steve, I appreciate you giving me the floor to talk about my Angels, who have been off to a great start this season, surprising a lot of people. They rolled in to Houston having won 4 series in a row. They lost the game in ugly fashion on Friday night. They came back and bounced back on Saturday with a win. So this is the rubber match between Houston and the Los Angeles Angels. I'm wearing my Anaheim hat, by the way, just to represent.
There you go.
We all know where they're really from. And so it was the rubber match, and it started out well. Taylor Ward hit his 5th home run of the season, a leadoff homer. Listen to this. He has 10 career leadoff home runs. He's tied with Cole Calhoun for 3rd in Angels franchise history. Only Brian Downing and Darren Erstad have more. Brian Downing had 19 leadoff home runs for the Angels, so that's quite a record to break. But here's the thing. Kyle Hendricks allowed 5 earned runs in the 2nd inning of this game. He ended his start at 4 innings, and it was the walks. The walks came back to bite him. The Astros aren't a team that strike out a lot, and even though the first 2 starts for Kyle Hendricks have gone very well, this one, he just couldn't find the zone. That's what really came back to bite the Angels in the end. They tried to claw their way back in the 6th inning. Jorge Soler hits a solo shot, made it a 2-run game. But Reed Detmers, who's coming out of the bullpen for the Angels this year, gave that run right back. And so the Angels, for the first time in 2025, have lost a series. Steve, I really wanted that 5th series win. I'm sad that it didn't happen.
That was a fun series to pay attention to this weekend. I will give you that.
Yeah, what can you say? I am all in on my Halos this year because I really like what they did over the offseason, adding the veterans to surround the young talent. People think I'm crazy, but before the season started, I said, they're sneaking into the playoffs. You just watch. And they've made me look good these last few weeks, and I hope they continue to make me look good.
Hashtag stay healthy.
That's right. That's all that matters. Exactly.
Rays home against the Braves in Florida on Sunday. Rays 2 in the first, never trailed 1 at 8-3. Joe Boyle filling in for Shane Baz. No hit bid into the 6th inning. Ended up getting charged with 2 unearned runs. Boyle did pick up the victory, 7 Ks and 5+ in that 6th inning. Hit Nick Allen and then walked the next hitter. That was all for him. He was removed, but still picks up the victory. Let's move on, John. Royals and Guardians. And Guardians, well, they lose the finale, and the Royals pick the victory up. Cole Reagan's terrific with 10 strikeouts in his outing. Let's hear from the winning side. Let's go with Jack with the Royals.
4-2 the final from Cleveland as the Royals avoid the sweep against their division rival. Cole Reagan's yet another double-digit strikeout performance, and Lucas Erceg and Carlos Estevez slammed the door in the 8th and the 9th. The takeaway from this game, I mean, how can it not be Cole Reagan's? After a weird inside the park play in which Bobby Witt Jr. likely wants to have the throw back, where it was 2-0, he never looked back. He sat down, I want to say, 18 of the final 19 guys he faced. You turn it over to your 2 best relievers, and the Royals find a way to get it done. Offensively, 3 hit games from Kyle Isbell and then Maikel Garcia, all without Jonathan India, by the way, who appears to be fine. But you did see the offense start to get a little bit of rhythm. Maybe that came from their 9th inning performance last night against Emmanuel Clase. Now they'll head to the Bronx for an ALDS rematch against a Yankees rotation that has really struggled to open up the year in a hitter-friendly ballpark. Will it be the series they get going at the plate? I guess we'll find out.
All right, Jack, thank you. We'll hear from Justin Latta, John, in just a moment. But, he made a point there. If you don't get to a top quality starting pitcher early, you may not have opportunities middle innings.
Yeah, especially with somebody like who the Royals have with Cole Reagans, man. That guy, just ever since he came over to Kansas City, just showing everybody what he's made of. And like you mentioned, you can't get to somebody like that. And then you've got to deal with somebody like Salvi Perez, who, found it again last year and is continuing it this year. A 2-run home run in the 4th that tied the game 2-2. And then Maikel Garcia, somebody I really like on the Royals. 3 hits in this one, including a 2-run home run in the 5th that made it 4-2 at that point. So again, the when you've got that combination of Cole Reagans, you can't get to him early enough, and then the offense backs you up the way that Salvador Perez and Maikel Garcia did. Great stuff from these KC Royals.
We heard from Jack on the Royals. Let's hear from Justin Latta. He gives us the recap for the Guardians.
Sometimes you lose to an ace. The Guardians unable to sweep the Kansas City Royals at home. Still won the series, but beat by Cole Reagans on Sunday. The Guardians lose 4-2. Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. We talked all year about how the Guardians' approach at the plate has been better this year. They've drawn more walks. That's how they're able to beat Cole Reagans in the season opener, make him throw a lot of pitches. He only threw 89 in this game. The Guardians only saw 115 pitches total, so they didn't create a lot of opportunities for themselves. Only 5 hits, no walks. That's part of why their offense just didn't get things done today. Cole Reagans was good. You can tip your cap to an ace, but the Guardians' approach today just did not force the Royals to throw a lot of pitches. They scattered those 5 hits. The only opportunities they had in this game were the ones the Royals gave them, and that was bad defense. It was a John Kensingwell base hit and a 2-base error that allowed Daniel Schneemann to score on a Little League home run that gave them their only 2 runs of the game. Other than that, Ben Lively was okay, a couple mistakes. The offense, though, just not coming through. Got nothing from Jose Ramirez all weekend. Still able to win 2 out of 3 overall. The bullpen was dominant in this one for the Guardians. Kept them close. They had a chance at the end. The Guardians didn't make any mistakes defensively. They cleaned things up the last couple of games, so that was good to see. We'll have more on that on Monday morning's Locked On Guardians. Stay tuned for more.
Justin, thank you very much. Again, Royals take the finale of that series against Cleveland. Nationals, Marlins wrapped up their series. Marlins take 2 out of 3. Sunday win, 11-4, pound out 11 runs on 14 base hits. Phillies, Cardinals was an interesting series at Busch Stadium. Cardinals 2-0 victory against the Phillies. They were coming from Atlanta, dead tired on Friday. We'll use that as an okay, no problem. They came back with a victory on Saturday, John, but a 7-0 victory for the Cardinals, and the Phillies, again, 3 hits, a walk, 0 for 4, runners in scoring position. The Bats going to St. Louis. Hopefully they're taking the Bats with them because they didn't really use them a whole heck of a lot.
Right. They're going to need those moving forward. But yeah, when you see the Phillies doing what they did, that's not the Phillies' way, Steve. That's not the way that they can get it done. 3 singles, 1 walk, 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. When you have somebody like Trey Turner going 0 for 4, that's not going to get it done for you.
All right. I'm trying to keep this under 35 like Lindsay and I did on Saturday. Good luck with that, right? But let's hear from JD. Cardinals' perspective is Liberatore in the bullpen, again, shutting out the Phillies.
The St. Louis Cardinals bats come back to life to take the series against the Phillies. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and that is why they play the games. The Cardinals, massive underdogs coming into the series against Philadelphia, take 2 of 3 thanks to a 7-0 shutout victory on Sunday. Matthew Liberatore was spectacular in his 3rd start of the season. He fires 6 shutout innings, allows just 3 hits, and he strikes out 7 to get his first victory. And the bats, they were back after a few slow days. The Cardinals put up 7 runs on 10 hits, including home runs by Wilson Contreras and Jordan Walker, and defeat one of the best pitchers in all of baseball in Zach Wheeler. Contreras switched to the torpedo bats on Saturday, and since then has gone 4 for 8 with 2 doubles and a dinger. I am guessing he's going to stick with those for a while. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Yeah, some guys have moved on from those bats. I don't know if they lit them on fire for kindling or not, but some guys are having success. Other guys, not so much.
You got to stick with what works, man. If it's working for them, you got to stay there. Absolutely.
Twins take the finale, avoid the series sweep against the Tigers, John, on Sunday. One thing I noticed in this game, Edouard Julien homering against Casey Mize. They were teammates at the college level at Auburn. What do you have, Tigers Twins?
Oh, man. Casey Mize, his first loss of the season, 5 2/3 innings pitch, 4 runs allowed. Not going to get it done when somebody like Riley Greene goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So, not a great day if you're Riley Greene or the Tigers. And so it makes sense that the Twins were able to avoid that series sweep.
Cal Raleigh had a series and a weekend for the Mariners. They sweep the Rangers, who have now lost 5 of 6. Raleigh homering in all 3 games. We get the Mariners' perspective from Ty Gonzalez.
Let's go to Ty right now. Here we go.
And what a difference a week makes. Am I right? This is Ty Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast. This is the beauty of baseball. It was exactly 1 week ago that the Mariners got swept by the Giants. They lost Victor Robles right at the end of that game. Vibes were terrible. Fast forward a week later, they go 5-1 on this homestand against a couple of division rivals. And today secured a sweep, their first sweep of the season against the Texas Rangers. And it wasn't their best effort across the board. Logan Gilbert, not that sharp today, but it gives them 5 solid innings of 1-run ball. And the offense looked more like the offense we had seen prior to this series than the one we had seen during this series. But they still get 3 runs. But they, also fumbled a bases loaded situation kind of. Did get 1 run out of that on a hit by pitch on Randy Arozarena, but 3 consecutive outs after that point. Pretty frustrating. By the way, don't let Cal Raleigh swing with another bat again. The torpedo bat is really working for him. 3 home runs in the 3 games that he's used the torpedo bat from the left side. Yeah, I think he's going to stick with that. Also, bullpen really, really good today. Andres Munoz, 6 for 6 in save opportunities. Carlos Vargas continues to be a revelation. We'll talk about it all on the Locked On Mariners podcast tomorrow. Catch you then. Peace.
Yeah, John, for us working our first show together, we nailed that. That was a great segue, right?
That's
was perfectly planned.
Yeah, you know what? It's like we have torpedo bats, but for podcasting. You know what I'm saying?
As Ty mentioned there, things are going well right now for the Mariners. The Rangers, week to week, started 8-2, get swept in Seattle. They've dropped 5 of 6, now 2 games over 500 through their first 16.
What a shame. My Halos are still in first place. Seattle, I'm a generational Seattle Mariners hater, but you know what? Props to you for helping my Halos stay at the top of the division. For now, let me have this. It's been a long time, Steve. Let me have this one for a change.
You got it. 100%. D-backs, Brewers, Sunday. D-backs, 5 runs, bottom of the 9th inning on Saturday to come back and walk it off against the Brewers. And Sunday, 5-2 for the D-backs. They were down 2-0 in the 5th, come back and win it, and they take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you got to give it up to Josh Naylor with the RBI in the 7th. Breaks up the tie. Josh Naylor proving to the Arizona fan base that he was worth it. He was worth the trade. He was worth getting him from Cleveland. And, man, he's just having a great season so far.
He is Jon Frisch. I'm Steve Lenox, working our first show together, Locked On MLB Game Night. John, to give you the final swing, your final thought.
Oh, man. What does Jake always say? It's early, but it's been a lot of fun, and I can't complain about where these teams are sitting right now. It's very interesting baseball so far. So many close records, so many guys racing towards the top, and, what's the old cliche? You can't win the division in April, but you can lose it in April, and that feels more true than it's felt in the last couple of years because it is neck and neck among some of these divisions.
Looking forward to the next time we're together. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
Hey, be sure to tell your friends all about us. Subscribe to the Locked On MLB YouTube channel. Subscribe and give us a 5 for 5 review and rating on the audio podcast as well. MLB Game Night, part of Locked On Sports Network, available wherever you get your podcasts.